Imagine you're about to go to the gym, and as you're driving to the gym, you see this, one of those huge 18-wheeler trucks with they carry food and shit like that. For some reason, you want to help them out. I don't know why, but you just do. Just go along with the metaphor. So a lot of manual labor of, carrying the heavy boxes, moving them. Then you say bye to the homies that you just met, and then you go to the gym, and then you work out for another hour and a half. That doesn't really make sense, does it? You got a pre-workout in before your actual workout. You went above and beyond, and you helped out these food truck guys with all their boxes for an hour and a half before you actually work out.
Huh?
That is a lot of physical tear on your body. Why would you do that to yourself? You are putting a ton of energy and strength and time into moving the food truck boxes and stuff before your actual workout. Why would you do that? It doesn't make sense, right? But guess what? That is exactly what we do with our sleep every single night. What I mean is this: as you are aware, when we sleep, that is the time where our bodies and our minds recover. That is their time to recuperate and recover from everything that we put them through in the day, physically and mentally. Physically and mentally, they are both worked out and tired, and that is when they recover and become stronger so that we can again do it tomorrow and become stronger mentally and physically again. But without proper sleep, you won't get better and stronger mentally and physically. For the mental part, we want our brains to be as relaxed as possible right before going to sleep so that it has a better transition to recover better and more easily while we are sleeping. But no, we as humans put our brains through a lot of stimulation, and we increase its awareness and we make it work out right before it's supposed to recuperate and recovers. We do that by doom scrolling on our phone for
a couple of minutes
before sleep, but which turns out to be like an hour and a half of doom scrolling. We watch some dumbass movie or show, glued to our eyes. We have our phone and we're watching it right in front of our eyes. We go on social media and we see these strangers or our friends, having success, and that puts anxiety and stress on our brain right before we go to sleep. And so you wonder why you have such a hard time going to sleep. It's because you're putting your brain through so much stress. You're working it out way too much right before you go to sleep. That's why your sleep sucks, and that's why you are watching this video, because you want to have better sleep. So I'm telling you right now, the best way to fall asleep fast and to have the best type of sleep, it all starts with a good night routine. Real quickly, if you're still watching this video, that means that you have a top 1% attention span, which means that you are ahead of 99% of people because you are trying to become a bigger version of yourself. So mad respect to you if you are still here watching this video. My name is Matthew, and I help men become the biggest versions of themselves through self-improvement. I'm trying to reach 100 subscribers by the end of this year. Right now I'm at 55, so if you could like and subscribe and do all that shit, I really appreciate it. It really helps. Back to the video. Habit number 1 to fall asleep fast is to read a book right before bed. Instead of doom scrolling and exposing our eyes to the blue vision, we need to replace that with something else, such as reading. I don't know about you, but reading makes me fall asleep. It gets me so tired, and so I thought, well, why don't I just implement this into my nighttime routine? Honestly, this is the only tip that you really need because it works. I will say though that you should read a fictional book, because if you are reading a non-fictional book, like a self-improvement book, like Atomic Habits or one of those books, that is a book where you actually want to learn and implement the lessons in it into your life. And so there are things that you want to take notes of and remember actually, but that increases time and energy right before bed, and you don't really want to do that. So I would suggest reading a fictional book because it's less stress on the brain and it's not as important. Basically, you want a book where you're reading it, and the moment you start getting sleepy, you close it without a bookmark or anything. You close it, put it on your desk, and go to sleep. So basically, you won't be stressed about,
oh, where was I in the story? Was I on page 54 or was I on page 55?
And you don't want that. You want to be comfortable with losing your spot. It's not a big deal. That's the type of book that you want. So I would suggest getting a fictional book to read. Right now I'm reading Crime and Punishment by however you pronounce his name. It's a really good book so far, I'm not gonna lie. But yeah, with that book, like I said, I'm reading it, and the moment I get tired, I just okay, close it up, put it away, and I go to sleep. Tip number 2 is to plan tomorrow today. This is a habit that I say a lot in my videos, but I really like it, and I think that everybody should be doing this in their lives. What you want to do is you want to have a autistic military type of schedule for the next day. So before you go to bed, like an hour-ish before bed, or 30 minutes before your bedtime, get on your phone, or you can do it on paper. It doesn't really matter with this one. If you do it on your phone, make sure you put like the red light filter on, or you put on blue light vision glasses to block out the blue light vision, because it's not good to expose your eyes to that right before bed. You start planning tomorrow. So here's an example of what one of my days look like. And as you can see, it's very autistic. Like I said, you want to become as detailed as possible. Why? Because one, this gets you sleepy as well, or at least it does for me. And then two, you wake up the next day, you have a purpose and a plan for what to do. You have to follow the schedule to a T. There's no time to doom scroll on your phone in the morning. So yeah, plan tomorrow today. It's really beneficial. It makes you get sleepy, and that's what we want. Tip number 3 is to do catharsis. What catharsis is you are writing down all of your stresses and anxieties right before bed. So this can be 30 minutes before bed, an hour before bed, 15 minutes before bed. It doesn't really matter. What you want to do is you want to get a pen and paper and write down everything that you are anxious about. All right, I got a new spot because the sun was getting on my face. Write down all your stresses and anxieties on paper. And there has been studies showing that when you do this, when you do catharsis before bedtime, that it decreases your time to fall asleep by 50%. So if it usually takes you an hour to fall asleep, it will take you 30 minutes to go to sleep if you do catharsis, which is a huge deal. That is so much time you are saving, and I've done it, and it honestly really helps. Do these habits because they really help. Read a book before you go to sleep, preferably fictional. Plan tomorrow today, and then do catharsis before bedtime. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like and subscribe and do all that shit. My name is Matthew, and I will see you next time.